And during the 2 hours that I was inside the tent, I saw people defying gravity. I saw people trusting their lives to each other. I saw animals and humans working together in ways that I had never imagined. I witnessed the magic of somebody selling me popcorn and cotton candy. I saw a ringmaster sort of tying the whole thing and like guiding us through this journey together. These aren't children's memories. This is what I now know as an adult, what was happening. But it was really nothing like I'd ever seen before. And I had been to Broadway shows. I had been to ballet. I grew up in the city, so my parents took me to see things. But this was different than all of that. And I looked, and the cool thing was that because it was a round circus tent, I could see everybody else around me enjoying the same thing, and it was a really magical experience. And I think there's something about circus that doesn't have the strict laws that theater has, where you're sitting in a seat and you're watching a flat presentation on the proscenium or the stage of what's happening. It's very participatory. You're shouting, you're yelling, you're standing up, you're stomping your feet. It's a living, breathing organism, and I remember as a kid feeling very connected to what was happening, as if I could fly too. And I never got that feeling from theater or ballet. Some kids do get it from watching those things. I didn't. I got it from circus.
Going back to the metaphor of the baseball thing again, when the baseball strike happened a few years ago, I was in Baltimore in Camden Yards on the field, and the Orioles had not returned that season anymore. That was the end of the season. They were playing New York Yankees in Yankee Stadium, but they were still keeping the grass mowed, just in case. And my feeling was that 700 rich guys yelling at each other, so why should we care? And some of the owners said, well, because, these fans, they have short memories, they'll get over it. I never really did get over what happened that season, but I remember being on the field and smelling that grass. That was the one moment I missed baseball. Because that, as a child, your parents, your father take you. So you're getting to, you're doing what you love.
I love this. I love what I'm doing, and I've been performing for 18 years. I've traveled all over the world, and I coach as well now. So as I transition out of being, a full-time performer, I'm now being able to share it with kids that are, interested in following in the footsteps of other people that have run away with the circus. So.
Talk about your performance. I hope I'm not really causing you any grief.
No.
Talk about you as a performer.
I started out as a fire eater.
Really? Wow.
And what really was exciting, I am a jeweler. I have a finance background as a jeweler and a jewelry maker, a jewelry designer. So I was working with torches and, shaping metal and doing all that stuff and sculpting. And so the firing appealed to me because I'd worked with fire as an element before. And as a jeweler and a sculptor, I was then able to make these great fireproof costumes out of copper and brass and make crowns and headpieces and sculptural elements that I could light on fire, and they would move kinetically with the fire and stuff. And it really appealed to me. And I met Keith, and we started traveling as fire eaters and doing nightclub performances and stuff. He had learned to juggle as a student at Hampshire College when he was studying anarchist theory.
What theory?
Anarchist theory.
What is that?
Basically, it's something that he made up as a major at Hampshire College. That's what you do.
Okay, I'm going to have to... And what's it?
Anarchist.
Anarchist.
Anarchist theory.
He'd be perfect on Wall Street right now.
Exactly, I know. Well, he was there the other day.
I was there on October 5th.
Oh, okay.
Matter of fact, that's the day the Union showed up and marched down to the park. I think that's the first time unions en masse got involved. So I was at that. Okay, so
yeah, there's been a lot of talk about that. It's interesting. Anarchist theory, and again, like I said, he was really enamored of Abbie Hoffman and the great pranksters of the 60s, and sort of the tradition of street theater as political protest, making culture through public demonstration.
I was at Abbie Hoffman's memorial at the Palladium on 14th Street.
Oh, yeah.
William Kunstler was there, and it was quite Peter Boyle, and it was quite an event there, Jerry.
Yeah, it was those guys. That was a really special time in American history and culture.
Abbie Hoffman would be loving this at Wall Street right now.
I know. I wish he could.
Boy,
Maybe he can see it. Who knows?
You think so? I don't know.
I don't know.
Anarchists
And artists.
and artists.
Getting together and making circus.
Now, you're a fire eater. For whatever reason brings you to, because I think everybody has something they do that's really unique to them. Oh, there are a lot of fire eaters, but that you can do it puts you in a very special wow kind of. That's called a wow. But what's the worst thing you ever had as a fire eater?
Oh, I had an accidental beard of flame for 5 seconds and got second-degree burns. But every fire eater burns himself. That's how you learn not to do it wrong.
You had a beard?
Yeah. Of fire.
You had a beard of fire?
Of fire, yes.
So that was the plan, to have a beard of fire?
No, it was not planned.
How'd you wind up with the beard? I mean, was it...
Well, I had a fuel... It was... Literally, I had fuel in my mouth because I was blasting fire, breathing fire, and the fuel leaked and went down my chin and neck and caught on fire. So I literally had a beard of flame that was unplanned.
What's the secret without giving away to kids?
There's no secret to
do
give
this
away.
at home.
It's not a secret and it's not a trick. It's literally technique.
And the fuel is on the thing that you're using, or you already have the fuel in your mouth?
It depends on what you're doing. So it's a very complex system of managing the chemicals that you're using and knowing their properties, which I'm not going to go into on the radio.
No. What about the ingesting of the fuel?
You want to avoid that at all costs.
How do you do that?
It's technique.
Wow.
It's very dangerous, and cumulatively over years it can cause cancer and other serious health problems. So
you've swallowed fuel.
I've been hospitalized with chemical pneumonia. I think almost any fire eater, and there are a lot of us around, but most of us have had significant accidents with fire, or made mistakes with it and learned serious lessons from that. Thank God most of us are insured. And I've never burned a venue down, but I've hurt myself, and so. But aside from that, I also walk on stilts. I juggle. I've ringmastered many shows and emceed shows. I do physical comedy. I do aerial stuff. I've done aerial stunt work. I can do a little bit of wire walking. I do rollerbola act. I kind of do a little bit of a lot of different skills in circus. Wild West rope spinning and whip cracking and.
Well, I came to Circus New York City. I'm helping a friend of mine at Metropolitan Hospital Center in Victoria, and they're looking for entertainers to come in for the pediatric, but room to room kind of thing, jugglers and that kind of thing. And the first person that signed up, and it has to be from here because Vivica did the post looking for jugglers and clowns. And the very first person to sign up was a girl that does hula hoop.
Cool.
And there's just something really wow about hula. I think the kids are gonna go wild. She does it in costume.
Right. Is it Miss Saturn? Miss Saturn?
I know her first name is Lauren.
Oh.
Yeah. Tina. I think Tina was the name there. But she's going to do hula hoop, and I sure want to be there with you. There's something great about the I'm sure you know the Big Apple Circus. Have you performed there?
No, I haven't performed with them, but I know.
Well, it's interesting. You'll see this woman up on the trapeze doing all these great things on and then you come out into the entrance, and she's taking tickets.
Yeah. That's real circus life. We're not superstars. We get our hands dirty setting up the tent. We drive the trucks. We make our own costumes. The other thing that's really appealing to me about circus is that as an artist, it's fulfilling because you create your own act. You decide what music you want to work with. You decide what story you're telling with your body and with your props. You can make your own props. You make your own thing. You're not an actor reading a script that somebody else wrote for you.
Right.
You're literally making your own thing.
I want to go back to fire eating again. The very first time you, first of all, what made you decide this is what you want to do, and what happened the first time you did it? You remember?
I wanted to do it because...
You must have been a little apprehensive.
Oh, well, sure. As a jeweler and somebody that works with, 1,000-degree acetylene torches, I know very well what fire can do.
It's a little different.
It's a little different, but I also had a healthy respect for it as an element, so I didn't kind of go into it blind.
What about your tongue, your mouth? I mean, there's got to be some...
It's a technique.
You
have
look great.
to know what you're doing.
I don't see any bird walks. I don't see any scars.
I was lucky.
I don't see any reason to believe. There's no reason to think that you eat fire. Do you do it?
I have healthy teeth.
Healthy teeth. Do you do it sort of like at a party now? I mean,
no, I charge a lot of money to do it. I mean, I won't do it for under $1,000.
So
I'm not kidding. I mean, it's something that it's a rarefied skill. It is. I carry insurance. I'm serious about it. I'm certified to do it. I will only do it if I'm in the right environment, if I've been paid well enough to do it. I mean, I take it very seriously, and I think other professionals do too.
Okay, I'm sure you have a website and an email or whatever. Give us the information there, and then I want to close up by asking you about the right situation, the right.
No.
Give us a website, and we'll do it now, and then we'll do it before we shut the interview down.
Okay.
But give us the website and that kind of thing. I'm so happy. Okay.
I will give fire eating lessons for the right price.
Okay. Give us all that information.
So we need you. No, I want to teach you. My website is Bindlestiff.org. BINDLESTIFF.org. We're the Bindlestiff Family Circus. We're based here in New York City. And my name is Stephanie. And
Monsue,
Monseu.
Okay.
And what can I tell you? There are a lot of fire eaters in the world, and we all have our preferences. I like to work indoors with climate control, so I don't have big breezes coming at me while I'm working with fire. I like the lights to be low because I like the fire to really show.
Right.
And what else?
And so those are the conditions. Got to be breeze-free.
No breeze.
Got to be inside.
Light control over the light, and then I like to be able to move around with it. So I need a nice wide open space. Flame-treated curtains, so if I'm blasting, it's not going to cause any exciting special effects with the dust on the curtains.
And it's about $1,000 to hire you, you said?
For me, yes.
$1,000, and it comes insurance, and you have to pay your insurance. And you do. How far away will you travel? You're in Long Island City right now. Long Island City?
Yeah.
Is that right?
We're in Long Island
How far
City.
will you travel to get to do a fire reading game?
Depends on if you're flying me or not. But I came back from Bangkok in May, and I ate some fire there. I also just came back from Chicago, Illinois. I ate some fire there, so I'll go anywhere.
And Kevin is your partner. He goes with you.
Keith Nelson. Yeah.
Okay, so folks, if you want to hire a fire eater, and you'll go to any length, as long as the conditions are right. And,
well, let's talk. We'll have to talk about that.
Okay. Again, give the website.
Aside from fire eating, the Bindlestiff Family Circus has been based in New York City. We produce professional youth circus shows in the Cavalcade of Youth, and we also present a cabaret-style circus every year. We'll be at Dixon Place Theater this winter.
And where's that?
It's a full show. It's on Christie Street in the Lower East Side.
Okay.
We do a great professional circus show with kind of a vaudevillian flair. We'll have acrobats, wire walkers, aerialists. We always have live original music, great clowning, physical comedy, sophisticated, fun circus that's not your grandpa's circus.
Okay, and this is a national troupe, and do you go international as well? Or?
We travel all over the world. I mean, in the 17 years that we've been around, we've been in probably 40 of the states. I remember as a kid feeling very connected to what was happening, as if I could fly too. And I never got that feeling from theater or ballet. Some kids do get it from watching those things. I didn't. I got it from circus.
Going back to the metaphor, the baseball thing again. When the baseball strike happened a few years ago, I was in Baltimore in Camden Yards on the field, and the Orioles would not return.
It was a really magical experience, and I think there's something about circus that doesn't have the strict laws that theater has, where you're sitting in a seat and you're watching a flat presentation on the proscenium or the stage of what's happening. It's very participatory. You're shouting, you're yelling, you're standing up, you're stomping your feet. It's a living, breathing organism, and us through this journey together. These aren't children's memories. This is what I now know as an adult, what was happening, but it was really nothing like I'd ever seen before. And I had been to Broadway shows, I had been to ballet. I grew up in the city, so my parents took me to see things, but this was different than all of that. And I looked, and the cool thing was that because it was a round circus tent, I could see everybody else around me enjoying the same thing. And during the 2 hours that I was inside the tent, I saw people defying gravity. I saw people trusting their lives to each other. I saw animals and humans working together in ways that I had never imagined. I witnessed the magic of somebody selling me popcorn and cotton candy. I saw a ringmaster sort of tying the whole thing and like guiding us.
That season anymore, that was the end of the season. They were playing New York Yankees in Yankee Stadium, but they were still keeping the grass mowed, just in case. And my feeling was that 700 rich guys yelling at each other, so why should we care? And some of the owners said, well, because, these fans, they have short memories, they'll get over it. I never really did get over what happened.